Hello, everybody, and welcome to a review um, by me, Tabletop Junkie. And I just want to point out this will not be one of my normal reviews. Um, so we do got a couple things to say because some people beat me to it, on ranting about this article you're seeing about Dungeons and Dragons 3.0 being ill received. Um, huh. I gotta say, um, uh, I don't know what to really say about that. I mean, like, did you not think, um, did you not think that somebody was gonna say something? First off, I would like to point out to CBR, and to anyone who's listening, and you can fact check all my stuff. Um, because this is, how do I say it delicately? The biggest line of bullshit I ever heard, and it actually has angered me a little bit because let me tell you something about their ill-received fan notion. Okay, D&D had a fan base because of first edition and second edition. That's how it all started. With TSR. You can look it up. Okay, and then when Wizards took over, I believe they took over during the era of second edition, and then they released 3.0 edition, and then somewhere down the line 3.5 came out to help take care of a few questions and bugs and stuff like that, of how things work with uh with the game. Um what does this Okay, so why am I doing a stream? Okay, because everyone else has done it. You can go through many people. I'm not going to name any names. You can go on YouTube and find them yourself. I don't care. Um, why does this bother me? I'm going to explain why it bothers me. This is the sole reason I'm even in gaming. This is the reason why Tabletop Junkie exists. Dungeons and Dragons 3.5 is the reason why I game today. So I'm going to defend and say something about the game that I started. So okay, so let me tell you guys something. Okay, let me tell you guys something. Okay, if something was poorly received, you're not getting a fan base. Period. That is just logic and common sense. Okay, but of course, the world's filled with nothing but morons and idiots. Nothing needs to make sense. Oh, okay. So where does the fan base came from? You think it came out of fourth edition? Fourth edition Dungeons and Dragons, which, by the way, can anyone even find any books for that anymore? Because I can't in my area. I might be able to find some online through Amazon, but they're used books. They're not new. So let's talk about that for a minute. Let's talk about that. They have stated, and it's in an article. I'm going to pull it up here for you guys too, so we can read it together because it's in words. There's evidence of it. So it was poorly received and the worst era ever. Okay. The worst era. Oh dear Lord. I've heard, okay, this bothers me because this is the game that I started with. If I didn't like it, why does Tabletop Junkie exist? And you guys know my story. I've met many gamers because of 3.5 edition. I met many more gamers because of 5th edition. And then I met even more than that because I moved to Castles and Crusades. And I'm meeting more than that because I delve into other games. So let's talk about 3.5 edition. We're not even going to read the full article. I mean, I may read the full article to you just because. I may read the whole thing because Tabletop Junkie is the one that embraces everything and says this is like life is too short to deal with such things. But for once, we're going to deal with this because I'm not I'm not in the mood today. Yeah, you guys caught me in the worst mood ever. So, okay. So I found this article here that states that Neverwinter Nights 2 released during D&D's worst era ever. When Neverwinter Nights 2 was released in 2006, Tabletop Dungeons & Dragons was going through some difficulties. Third edition had been poorly received by fans, despite 3.5e addressing some of the significant issues. It's fair to say that players were looking for alternate ways to scratch their fantasy itch, entering at precisely the right time. Neverwinter Nights 2 finally gave the players a chance to play through the fantasy world of D&D on PC. I'm going to stop that right there. Okay? I'm going to stop that right there and go, first off, if you're a gamer like me, you're not going to give a shit about PC gaming. So they said Neverwinter Nights brought back D&D. Bullshit. I never played Neverwinter Nights. I didn't even hear about Neverwinter Nights until sometime after the fact. I think it was my second or third year into gaming. Then I heard about it. So, yeah. Okay, so I'm gonna minimize this here, and I'm gonna pull up some things here, okay? And you guys can check this stuff out, okay? So okay, so look this crap up. It's all over the internet. Okay, so in 1974, the original Dungeons & Dragons original edition was released. In 1977, Advanced Dungeons & Dragons First Edition came out. In 1989, they finally released Dungeons & Dragons Second Edition. In 1995, they did a revised version of Dungeons & Dragons. 2000s, Dungeons & Dragons released Third Edition. 3.5 was released in 2003. Okay, you guys hear the dates? Listen to this one. 2008, Dungeons & Dragons 4th Edition was released. And in 2014, they released 5th Edition. Okay, so let me explain something there. Okay. So they released 4th Edition 5 years after 3.5 Edition, but 8 years after 3rd Edition was already out. Okay. There was 2 revised editions. Okay, the Second Edition and Second Edition revised in 95. The revised Second Edition came out in 1995. That was 4 years difference. Okay. Listen to the spacing. And then Dungeons & Dragons released Dungeons & Dragons Essentials compatible with 4th Edition in 2010, 2 years after 4th Edition came out. And then 4 years after that, Essentials was released, we had 5th Edition, which so far I believe has had the longest run. Okay. Now you're probably wondering, what's my point? Well, if 3.5 Edition was such poorly received game, why is there 8 years worth of gaming just in that? More importantly, why don't you look up the book list? Okay, all first 3 editions had I don't want to say hundreds of books, but I would say the books did number over 100. You know, I remember seeing Tome of Magic, Tome of Fighting, for 3.5 edition. In the 3.0 editions and 3.5 revised was completely compatible with each other. Yeah, so I don't know. I don't know. What are you going to tell me about that? There was definitely several adventures. And here's a funny fact. 3.0 edition and 3.5 did release the open gaming license, which, mind you, I'm going to point this out. There was just an issue with that earlier this year, about 6 months ago. It was actually 5 months ago. Okay, so the open gaming license didn't fall under first or second edition, so but third edition it did, fourth edition it did, fifth edition it did, you know. And then they pull this. Then you guys remember back in the day that they pulled this, 5 months ago, that they pulled this debacle 5 months ago. I said back in the day, like it was forever ago. 5 months ago, that they were trying to alter the OGL in such ways that it kind of scared the crap out of people. So I do not understand how that was poorly received. Let's see if I can look up the list of books for 3.5, and I'm going to show you the list of books for, I'm not going to show it to you, but you can look it up. List of books for D&D 3.5. The complete list of source book. Well, this says source books, but whatever. Oh God. 3.0 had 3.5 core books, consists of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Oh my God, I'm not counting all that out. Okay, about 2-3 pages worth of books. That's not including 3.0. Okay. Let me see if I can, and plus magazines and stuff. I remember there being magazines of this stuff. I remember people subscribing to stuff. I remember tons of stuff. I did, so yeah. Okay, so 4th edition. List of books for 4th D&D. 25 or less, possibly. 25 books. They released potentially 25 books. Wait, there might be more. 43 books. 43 books. And you know what's funny? Is I can look that up. I couldn't even look up all the list of books for 3.5 edition without counting them. There was 3, 4, 5 pages. There's barely 2 pages in here. Okay. And I believe even 5th edition has even more. So, and I think most of these too are just, some of them are actually adventures and stuff like that. So they're not actually all source books. So, I mean, you can look it up. It seems like they have the largest known, for source books. So, yeah. I mean, I'm going to defend 3.5 edition and say, like, okay, that article was complete crap. And I could remember always finding 4th edition wherever the hell I wanted it. I didn't have to look very hard. 3.5 edition, I didn't have to look very hard either, but here's the thing. They didn't have everything. And 5th edition is the same way. Now, I'm not a big 5e person at all because it feels kind of superhero-y. But, yeah. So, I mean, is this really review? I mean, overall, the article... Okay, so, let's put this in review standards. Basically speaking, if I had to review this article, I would say this article is poorly written. Someone didn't know what they were talking about. Now, I tried getting in 4th edition, and I played one game of it, and could not find anyone else that was willing to play. I even have someone who could probably speak to that, because they started out with 4th edition and couldn't find anyone to play. As soon as I remember 4th edition being so short-lived. As soon as 4th edition came out, we all heard about Pathfinder, and because 4th edition was somehow... I looked at 4th edition maybe one time and said, screw this, I'm going to go play Pathfinder. And, there was this name for it. Pathfinder was deemed as 3.75 edition. D&D. Um, so I do not understand how, and they're saying that Neverwinter Nights gave, brought back D&D, and it's like, it didn't, I guess. I don't know. When was Neverwinter Nights 2 released? I think it's 2006. Yeah, 2006. That's 2 years before 3.5 edition came out. No. No, I'm lying. That's 2 years before 4th edition came out. So, I don't know. I just don't think the article is very truthful, or very factual. You know what? Let's put aside from what's truth and what's a lie. Okay. Let's put this into other terms. Okay. I don't think that this article is very factual, because I've always been able to find people to play D&D with. When it came to 5th edition and when it came to 3.5. If anyone poorly received any of those editions, it was 4th edition. Okay? Now, I personally am not going to get into why I think this article was released all of a sudden. All of a sudden this came out, and somebody wrote an article about a game that's officially, we're in 2023. This came out in 2006. We're in 2023. Let's point out that game is reaching its 20th anniversary. So 20 years later, why does it matter? Why does something like this matter 20 years later? So, it doesn't. So, it's basically, to me, saying, hey, all of our previous editions before 5th edition and before 5.5 edition, because now Wizards of the Coast is getting ready to release a newest edition. Let me tell you guys something. Nothing like this was ever talked about during the release of any new edition, ever. Okay, articles like this wasn't being written, or at least none that I found at the time. So now we've got them. All of a sudden, if 3.5 edition was poorly received, it was because of the OGL, not like it was, it wasn't the game. It was, what did the OGL stand for originally? I don't know. That's gonna be my rant about that. That may not be actual factual, and I'll back that up right now, saying that's not actual factual. I'm just spouting off at the mouth because someone who writes an article can seem to do it and call it free speech and all this other stuff, and it's like, oh, okay. You guys can look this stuff up. I mean, and know, hey, 3.5 edition actually, believe it or not, 3.5 edition actually did bring some new players to the table. I was one of them. 4th edition drew me away from the table. 5th edition brought me back to the table. Now this 5.5 edition or whatever, or 6th edition or whatever they're going to call it. 1 D&D whatever. I don't care what they call it. It's taking me away from the table, and all I'm going to say is, you guys can look at stuff on my channel, and I hate to put this out there, but I've been kind of meaning to say this. I will never have, this is the only thing that will ever be on my channel until I have to remove the video. Until I get told, you have to take the video down because you don't know what the hell you're talking about. There will be no other video representing Dungeons & Dragons on my channel to this day. Because whatever that is being pulled now with Dungeons & Dragons and Wizards of the Coast has driven me away forever. Oh, hey, Jace. Thanks for joining my little thing here. I'm almost about done. But you can stay here for, stick around for another couple minutes. I'm almost done. So I'm gonna pull this up for anyone else who's joining. um this What bothers me the most about this article is that is the game that drew me in. There was another guy who did a rant, and you can listen to everyone else. All this is going to do is support them and what they said. This actually drew me in. This actually got me into gaming. This started my career off and as a game, as a game master and as a player. I started out as a player with 3.5 edition. And there was nothing poorly received about it. I mean, I think if the any issue I had with it was the combat system. But combat systems, regardless if it's 3rd edition, 4th edition, or 5th edition, can be kind of slow at times. The only D20 game I found with a rapid, what I liked is a rapid combat system, was Castles and Crusades by Trollord Games, and that's because I also took some ideas from the books that they tossed around, and I was able to tweak them to my own rule set. It's still mostly theirs. It's just I made a few tweaks that, and I didn't even make a few changes. They weren't even changes. They were already ideas in the book. I just expanded on those ideas, worked them into how I GM and how I play the game, and we call it good on that. We could even sit down one day and I'm probably going to even do a video on that. I'm going to sit down one day and teach you guys how I learned Castles and Crusades, because how I do it, I think works wonders for people, because it gets people into a game, and it's fast paced all the time. Because I've sat down and played 2 hours, and we played 2 hours worth of combat, and that was about it. I mean, we did I think I even did 4 hours, and it was all combat. That was it. We did some role playing, then we did some role playing, which probably took up 30 minutes of our time, and then 3.5 hours we were taking on 3 dudes. Yeah, 3 bandits in the woods. So sometimes it's not always the best. I will say that. But that's just D20 for you. All D20s are like that. It's not particularly because of, anything particular. It's just how you perceive the game. So, yeah. I don't remember people looking at alternate ways to scratch their fantasy itch. I can say I'm from that time. I actually started out with that edition when it first came out, because I started gaming in 2007, 2008. Maybe it was 2009. So, yeah, I definitely started 3.5 era, and trying to think, there was tons of books. Like, I remember having friends who had stacks of books, and they couldn't even carry them all. So, yeah, that started, when I tried playing Vampire Requiem and other games, everyone's like, well, let's play some D&D. This is fun, but let's play some D&D. We always went back to Dungeons and Dragons, and that at the time was 3.5 edition. Then when 4th edition came out, it was like, let's play some Pathfinder. So, you guys got something to say? Yeah, no one was looking for alternate ways. And the only alternate way we did for that was Pathfinder when 4th edition came out. And 4th edition came out in 2008. Oh, no, I started gaming right around 4th edition. I don't remember 4th edition coming out that early. Okay, 3.5 edition was 2003. Okay. It was already out, but 4th edition was just coming out. I don't know. I just don't particularly buy the article. Alright, so obviously, let's point out here that this entire video is just over one little spiel of the article. Really, what this article is actually saying is that this game did allow people to play through their fantasy realm, which I believe was the realm of Baldur. So Baldur's Gate games are faithful enough to the source materials and hugely fun in their own right, with Baldur's Gate 3 releasing in August, nearly 3 years in early access. It's another series, however, that retains the crown of the best D&D video game ever, with Neverwinter Nights 2 remaining the zenith of the genre for over 15 years. So, really, this was just stating what the video game did. But here's the problem. I didn't play Neverwinter Nights. I didn't even know about it. I grew up poor, and I grew up with... Missed the old days with D&D and games. Yep. I grew up with very poor, and I wasn't able to afford a lot. The most I could afford was books here and there, but I couldn't afford gaming computers and stuff to run these, so this didn't actually play a factor. So I can contest to that. Well, that's everything I have at this time, everyone. I just wanted to do a quick review of this article. So a couple things. Let's scale it now. So as far as, was Neverwinter Nights 2 a good game? I can't say. I never played it, so I'm not going to say good or bad. I'm going to give it a neutral thumb. Is Baldur's Gate faithful enough to source material? I mean, I have read some of that. I think it might be. I'm going to give it a thumbs up for that one. Does Neverwinter Nights... Was Neverwinter Nights released in the D&D's worst era? No, that's a thumbs down. So we've got one thumbs up, one thumbs neutral, and one thumbs down, which means we're 0 for 0. Set in around the titular city, titular city. I don't know why they use words like... Is that even a word, titular? Titular? Holding or constitution a purely formal position or title without any real authority. Denoting a person or thing from whom which the name is artistic word. I think, okay, so with that English there, does this have the best English language in it? Does not. They could have just said a well-known city known as Neverwinter. They didn't have to try and go all fancy with it. So we're going to give that a thumbs down for language being crappy. Befitting alright, so back to that. Of Neverwinter, part of the perpetually popular Forgotten Realms setting, the game... Okay, Forgotten Realms was actually pretty popular, so I'm going to, give a thumbs up for saying that. Befitting of D&D adaptation, it features 16 races, 12 playable classes, and an opportunity to build characters similar to those in the TTRPG. Equally, the player can create a group of characters to adventure with, exploring Faerun, completing quests and acquiring gear and loot while encountering some of the iconic monsters ever designed in D&D's extensive history. And Neverwinter Nights 2, greatest strength is its story. Yeah, I can probably buy that. And then they did have the ability of a co-op, so... Alright. Alright, so let's do this. Thumbs up for doing a article on, I guess, on a renowned game. Also a renowned realm, so 2 thumbs up there. A neutral thumb for... Yeah, not being the best article in the world, and then two thumbs down. One for the language and one for some of the facts not being true, which you guys can look that up yourselves. So overall, I do not recommend anyone actually reading this article if they don't have to. It's not very insightful. There's honestly nothing here of really great importance. However, I will give it... .5 is the last or most recent edition that I've played. Yes. Alright. Alright, so I will give this a 1 out of 10. I think I do a rating out of 10. I'm going to give it a 1 out of 10 for being a good clickbait article. So it's not going to get a 0 out of 10 rating. It's going to get a 1 out of 10 out of me for being a good clickbait. And that's just because I thought it was pretty good, because it grabbed my attention. It grabbed the attention of people that I know. There are people here listening to me rant right now because of this. So I'm going to say, for a good clickbait, definitely 1 out of 10. And it's very flashy, so maybe a 2 out of 10. Because I'm feeling kind of generous today. So 2 out of 10. I don't recommend this article because, like I said, as far as information is concerned, you got probably some facts in here, but it's not all 100% factual. It's I wouldn't even claim it to be 50-50 on that either. I kind of say maybe, and it doesn't really have anything to really denote of anything that is of any extreme importance in this current time right now. This is not what you would call, what would you call it? I know when I was in school, we had something that everyone had to listen to, current events. This article was written 5 days ago, but it does not follow anything from current events, unless they're coming out with a new Neverwinter Nights game, which, let's also remember that Dungeons & Dragons did release a new one, Dark Alliance, I believe it is, and that looks actually pretty good, but I wouldn't say that it's got a downfall because, 5th edition just really is crappy, or Wizards is crappy. I wouldn't say that. I mean, it looks like it's pretty good. I know the trailer's really funny, but because this article got me talking about it, got everyone else talking about it, like I said, I'm feeling pretty generous. 2 out of 10, and I don't recommend even looking into it from this further. My recommendation, check out T-Shirt Historian stream, check out other streamers that have done it. I'm going to promote T-Shirt Historian. His link will be in my description. I'm going to let him know I did that too. I generally don't like doing that without his permission, but I just want to promote him on that one. So, well, we said it, so I'll get his link and stuff. So you guys can check him out. Really, I'm just here backing him up, and he really doesn't need it. He's a very smart guy. And well, in my book, he's a very smart guy. I mean, hell, I don't really know much from other times I'm on streams and stuff. So, anyway, Hasbro's crappy in my opinion. yeah, I think that's where we're kind of going with this point. It's just giving people stuff to talk about. That's all it is, because Dungeons & Dragons is a hot topic right now, and yeah. Hence the reason why I'm giving this article, at least from CBR.com, which I will have the link to the article in my description as well. That's why I'm giving CBR, this article at least a 2 out of 10 on my review, because it did get me in there. I gave it a 1 out of 10 because it got me in here. It gave me a 2 out of 10 because it gave me an audience, because you guys did come check me out. So, they should be happy. They got 2 out of 10. They weren't getting much. If I had to do it from a perspective of maybe non-logical and more emotional standpoint, I would say 0. Easily. 0 out of 10. But I'm trying to be logical and methodical in my thinking. I will not be clicking that CBR link. That's my whole point to this. to save you guys. But, if you do want to check it out, it will be in there. So, alright, well, that's everything I have at this time. I've gone on for 33 minutes. I'm done. You guys have a great day. And have a great night. And, you know what? We gotta have some laughs. Call staff, I kind of like how we have some laughs. Thank you. Oh, and also, you're a new subscriber to my channel. Thank you and welcome. And also, Jason Fox, everybody. I'm going to have his link in there, too. Jason Fox has his own YouTube channel. I have 540 Studios. I'm going to be promoting Sparta Chris on this as well. Actually, this seems to be something up their alley. They need to do it. Unfortunately, I used to be on 540 Studios quite a bit. I know everyone's been seeing me here, there, and scarcely. I hate to break it to you guys, but I got a brand new job, and it's paying me damn good money and whatnot, and I'm doing really well at it. So I'm not gonna tell you what I do or where it is or the name of the company or nothing like that, but life is totally in the way, but I'm trying to do what I'm trying to do. Simple as that. So it's called making a living. So, but yep, I'm gonna have your guys' links in there as well. And then I believe there is one for Prismatics. I'm going to just promote everyone. Hell, promotion all the way around. Go check out my man, the Witch King. There's a link to click on. I'm going to put that. Links to not click. Links to click. And I'm just going to put that in there. See if we can get some subscribers for these people. Alright. This is Tabletop Junkie telling you guys to work hard, play hard, game hard. Game on, everyone. Have a great and wonderful evening.
Why don't you shut up?
You shut up.